Hey guys, so for this video, I'm going to rank all the specimens, including the unknown specimens, monsters, and dolls from the DLCs, based on if they're better in OG or HD, or if they're in the middle. So I've got three categories here: better in OG, middle, and better in HD. And the ones in the middle will be if I can't decide, or if they cancel out each other. So like if something is that there's a couple good attributes in both versions and I can't decide which one to pick, then it goes in the middle. So yeah, we've got 30 of them here, and yeah, let's get started. This is all going to be based on both design and mechanic, but also build up as well if it applies to them. So yeah, let's start with specimen 1, the cardboard cutouts. So this is basically all of them. This is I just have the default one here, but it applies to all the specimen ones. I'm gonna say this one is better in OG, and the reason why is because of how it pops out in like a single frame. Like in HD, it is more realistic. It comes out realistically, but it's not as effective as it is in OG. And I've seen a lot of people get scared by it in OG because of the fact it just pops out in a single frame. And the sound, all the sounds that play are pretty loud, which can make it really annoying, but it is more effective that way, because in HD, a lot of the specimens, their sound cues, this applies to like specimen 6 and 4 and 11, their sound cues are attached to them, so because of that, you don't hear it as well if you're far away from them. And the same thing applies to specimen 1. If the sound plays and you're a distance away from them in HD, you're not going to hear it as effectively, so that's why he's going to go in OG. I just prefer it in OG. Although the Pop-Tart, which is my favorite specimen 1, is broken in OG, even though it's in the files, it doesn't show up in endless mode. So that kind of sucks, but it's not enough to put it, in the middle. So it's going to go in OG. So Gel, specimen 2, our green boy. Where does he go? I would say he's going to go in HD. Now, the thing is that, he's not perfect in HD, but he's certainly better than in OG. He would have gone in the middle, possibly, but when version 3.0.2 came out, a lot of you know that the puddles are not as effective now. You can run through them. I mean, it slows you down just slightly, but really slightly. It's so subtle. The puddles really don't slow down the player anymore. And that's why in HD, of course they do, and he's a little faster, and his 3D model's pretty good too. Now, keep in mind, this is all going to be before Soup. The Soup update for HD Renovation, which has been delayed by at least a year, it does not apply here. All these rankings are going to be the current HD Renovation models, based on when I'm recording this, of course. I don't know if Soup will come out when I post this video, but yeah, this is going to be based on before Soup. These are not going to be the Soup models for the new update for HD Renovation. I'm not going to base it off of that. I'm sure my opinions will change as well when that comes out. But yeah, he's going to go in HD because his 3D model's pretty cool, and he's more effective, I would say, in HD. Even though he's still really easy, still better in HD than in OG because of that. I don't like the fact that he does make his sound cue, his spawning cue, in every room when he comes out of a puddle. It does get kind of annoying, but that's the only critique I have on Specimen 2 in HD. So yeah, he's going to go in HD. So Specimen 3, no doubt. Choo-choo train, as Sharky Boy would call him, or Spider-Pede, as I call him, goes in HD, and there's no question about it. I mean, it is night and day. I mean, he's way better in HD. His 3D model is pretty sick, kind of menacing. He looks more like a centipede, like he's supposed to, not a spider like he does in OG. And his chase is just, I don't know, it's a lot better in every way. I mean, there's no question that he's way better in HD. So Specimen 4, Ringu. This is normal Ringu. So normal Ringu, we'll get to Endless Mode 1 later, but Ringu's gonna go, I would say, in the middle. So in OG, I do like the fact that you do hear her spawning cue loud and clear. In HD, you don't hear it as much because it's attached to her. But what's funny is that her chase theme only plays 50% of the time in OG, as opposed to HD, where it's 100% of the time. It's one of the only few that plays 100% of the time in HD. Usually it's reversed. Chase themes are 100% in OG and 50% in HD, so it's kind of the opposite here. But really, the model, the 3D model, I do like her animation when she's opening her mouth and when she gets close to you and she opens her mouth to take a little nip. Well, I do like that in HD, but I'm not a big fan of the static in her 3D model. It's okay, but it's not my favorite. I think her 2D sprite is slightly better. So everything just kind of cancels out, and that's why I'm putting her in the middle. So yeah, there she goes there. Specimen 5. Bam! Where does the Babster go? I think I'm going to put her in the middle as well. My opinion slightly changed because of it. I originally had her in HD, but I think middle is where she's going to go. So there's a few things that cancel out. For one, I do like her HD effects, the new effects that were added, where that show up behind her. Those effects are pretty cool in HD, although I don't think they were that necessary. But I do like her effects there, and her 3D model's all right as well. There's nothing wrong with it, but the chase itself, the mechanic, works in OG better. It's because the doors blend in to the effects in OG, but they don't in HD. If you notice, in HD, the doors do not change. So it's much easier to find the door in HD as opposed to OG. I've only seen people die to her in OG, but not HD. I mean, I really have, unless it's endless mode with combos, of course. But chasing solo, she's more effective in OG. She does trip people up. The chase itself is more effective, even though she's slower. She is slower in OG, which is why I would say, speed-wise, it's better in HD. So that's why it all cancels out, and she's going to go in the middle. So can't decide between which one it is. I think it is definitely middle ground for her. I'm way better in OG! Ha! Yep, you are. Ben is in OG for sure. Way better. I mean, it was night and day for Specimen 3 in HD, but it's also the same for Ben in OG. There are so many reasons why. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them, but for one, his 3D model in HD just sucks. I mean, I'm not a fan of it, guys. I'm just not. I've never been a fan of the models for him. It just doesn't look right. They don't look right, at least to me. And the fact that he's always looking at you, when no matter what, he's always looking at you in OG. That's just so menacing. I've always loved that. He does it in HD. He acts more like Peanut, and I'm sure that's what they were going for, and they wanted to be more like Peanut, but I just don't like that. I think he works more like a weeping angel in OG. In HD, he does that teleporting thing, where if you look at him for too long, even while moving, he will teleport and possibly attack you anyway, which is not my favorite. I don't like that. I just don't. And in OG, at least he's more like a weeping angel. He's creepier. He's got that really impactful feel to his chase. And the only thing I'm not a fan of in OG is the fact that it takes him 4 seconds, or 240 frames, to show up in the room or to spawn in your vicinity after you enter each room. Because that allows for new players, to just escape his chase without turning or having to turn around. And if they get good RNG and they don't even figure out his mechanic. That's the only flaw with this chase in OG. But it's not enough to put him in the middle. So yeah, my boy Ben is going up there in OG big time. My favorite specimen in OG, and my favorite specimen overall. In HD, he's one of my least favorite, which is pretty crazy. Huge stark contrast. But yeah, Ben is going up there. He deserves it. So Specimen 7. I like the clock, the hub area in HD where you go around the clock. But I also like the hub in OG as well. The intro with the kitty. It's just very nostalgic. But Specimen 7 itself is even slower in HD. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking when they did that. I'm still going to put him in OG. Yeah. I still think that the OG chase is slightly better. But only slightly. Not much else to say about it. Dear Lord. Praise be! Yes, our dear Lord, our one and only. That's going in HD. He is going there. Well deserved too. His mechanic, the newer mechanic of him, you know, like teleporting through the walls and stuff, making a rift and all that. That's pretty cool. I mean, there's no question about it. It's a cool mechanic because he was so boring before that. Just normal chaser. He would have gone in the middle had that mechanic not been there. Although I do think that his 3D model is pretty sick. The one before Soup, of course. So, yeah. I like his 3D model, just like I like Specimen 3's. These 3D models are great, the current ones, for them. They're awesome. And that's why Dear Lord's going here. His mechanic, the rifting mechanic, and his 3D model are what put him over the top for HD. So we have two takers. We got Boss Taker and we've got Normal Taker. First, Normal Taker. I'm going to put him in the middle. So his HD death scene is really cool. He doesn't have one in OG, but I do think that I prefer his, I wouldn't call it a chase, but his arrival better in OG, simply because he does 60% damage. I like the fact that you can mess with him, and, you know, if he does 60% damage, you can still escape him, even if he hits you once. He does 100% damage. It's an instant kill in HD. But and it also shows up really fast, too. Like, once you stand idle, boom, he's just right there. And he kills you. So, the fact that you can mess around with him more in OG is what's going to make it in the middle. Because I still like his death scene in HD. The fact that he has one, it all cancels out. So, yeah, middle ground for sure. Boss Taker. So this is the Specimen 9 boss. So I don't know if you want to count the minions or not. The minions are really glitchy in OG. So they're better in HD. But as far as Boss Taker himself, I mean, it's kind of middle ground, I would say. But at the same time, spamming the axe on him in OG is pretty cool. And it's pretty fun, too. I do enjoy that more than HD. I would say it leaves more of an impact as well. So, I'm going to put him in OG, but you could easily put him in the middle if you wanted to. Honestly, though, I'm going to put him in OG, though, just because. Totally not biased for OG. Parasite, Specimen 10. Where does this little booger go? I'm going to put him in OG. So, I think it has to do with the feeling of the chase, the aesthetic of the chase, more so than the mechanic. In HD, I'll say that the things I like about HD with Parasite, well, it's not as broken. The mechanic is more effective. It's a little harder, quite a bit harder, especially with combos in Endless Mode. I mean, it could be a big problem with him in HD. But the fact that Specimen 10... You know, when you go too far away from him and he changes to the leech, and you go to the next room, he's still in the leech form. He's still in the leech form until he hits you. In OG, he resets in every room. So when he hits you, boom, next room, he's back to his normal form. So you can escape him really easily. But the problem isn't that. For me, I say it's the 3D model. I've never been a huge fan of his 3D model. Of course, that's before Soup. We all know my opinion on the Soup model. Oh boy. Yeah, I know it's not as bad as what it was when it was first introduced, but still. But yeah, I've never been a big fan of his animation. I think the model's okay. It's just the animation. I don't really care for it too much in HD. And there's something about his 2D sprite. It just feels more menacing. It just gives that more impactful feeling. The walk cycle that he does in OG definitely should be what he should have done in HD, instead of wobbling back and forth and swaying like he does in HD. So that's why he's going there. So beef, Specimen 11. Where's the beef? Where's the beef go? We have the beef. we have the beef is going to go to OG. So I like the flame above his head. I think that's my favorite thing about him in HD is the flame. I would say his 3D model is slightly better than an OG, but that's about the only thing that I can say is better in HD about him. Chase-wise and mechanic-wise, OG wins. The fact that the doors are, they go invisible, but the fact that you get the open prompt in HD defeats the whole purpose of the chase. I mean, they're supposed to try to memorize where doors are and try to figure out where they are. And when you hug a wall and see where it says open, that just defeats the whole purpose. And, I just feel like he's better in OG in every other way, aside from the flame torch in HD. I do like that aesthetic where he lights up around him. So, but it's not enough. He's going in OG. Has anyone seen my contacts? The old man. So this is actually Specimen 12 and old man combined. At least I'm going to make it like that. So this is like 50% Specimen 12, which is the mansion, and 50% old man. And because of that, I'm going to put him in the middle. So mansion-wise, OG. The figure that appears hanging from the door only is in OG, and that automatically makes him better. It makes it better in OG. But I just think that the hiding mechanic is more effective in OG as well. In HD though, I like the old man better because his pathfinding works. And I mean, I do like his goofy, pathfinding in OG as well. But no, as far as like old man, the running mechanic is obviously more menacing. It's not that hard at all, but he's definitely more effective, I would say, in HD. But Mansion for OG, so that's why it's going in the middle. So there you go.
Now this is easily the worst chase yet.
Siren, OG. Way too long of a chase in HD. I know they're planning on possibly shortening that. I hope so. But the new chase was cool, but it was just... They did too much. It overstays its welcome big time. Siren is going in OG. And even though it's not the best chase in OG by far, it's nowhere close. It is a little too easy. It does kind of get repetitive. It's still... Siren is better in OG simply because of how much shorter of a chase it is in OG. It's just way too long in HD. I mean, come on. Endless Ringu! Yeah, Endless Ringu is going to go in OG. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this. A lot of people say the static is better in HD. It's not bad, but there's something about her OG static that I just love. Yeah, sure, she's slower in OG. She's way easier in OG, unless the blinding mechanic is effective in a room that's pretty windy and she can catch up to you. But in HD, she's way too fast. Way too fast. Way too OP. And the static, while it is cool, I just think that her OG static, there's something about it that's just really menacing. So, yeah, she's going in OG. So, yeah, the normal Ringu is in the middle, and Endless Ringu is in OG. White Face. The Face. HD. He's too wanky-janky in OG. He hits in the door transitions. He's quite unfair a lot of times. I don't really like his chase mechanic in OG. At least in HD, it's a bit more fair to an extent. So, yeah. White Face is going in HD because of that. And not much else to say. I'm not a fan of his OG chase. He's just, it's just whether or not he's having a good day or not. And not a fan. So, yeah, gonna go in HD. Otto. I don't know if... I like his HD jingle. The one that plays in his introduction room. The introduction room's neat. I like it. It's one of my favorites. but is it enough to make him go there or in the middle? No. I like his OG chase. There's something about his OG chase. Even though his sprite is just this, you can tell it was just done in like 5 minutes. And I love the animation. His like just his 3 sprite animation. It's just really funny. It works better. He's so slow, but I just think that it's more of a joke. It just fits more as a joke specimen. In HD, they actually made him like slightly less of a joke, I guess, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it does, but yeah, it's fun to goof around with him in OG. His pathfinding is really bad, but yeah, OG chase, I would say he's gonna go there. Spooper-de-dooper, oh boy, RNG fest. So, a lot of you might think I'm gonna put him in HD, but I'm actually gonna put him in the middle. There's something that cancels out. So, RNG Fest, Spooper, and OG, that's obviously a problem. You get Zone 5, he's a piece of cake. You get Zone 1, well, you can kiss your run goodbye, for the most part. There's a very high chance that if you get bad rooms in OG, you will die to Spooper, because it is so unbalanced, so RNG, it's very unfair. So, in HD, he is a little bit more fair. But, remember what I said, I'm going to be including build-up in this ranking as well. Build-up for Spooper is better in OG, because his chase theme does not start playing until after you've axed him 6 times, and then, you know, the rooms become toxic, then the chase theme starts. I like that better than the fact that it starts in HD as soon as he spawns in. So he's standing by the door awkwardly while his chase theme is playing. Now, some of you might like that, but for me, no. It just doesn't feel as impactful when the chase theme starts playing instantly. That's why it cancels out and he's going in the middle. Tirsiak, everyone's favorite waifu. OG. 3D model is bad. I'll just straight up say it. It's not good. Her 3D model is just, I don't like it. She has this long neck and it looks like a bobblehead, and it just does not look good. Her 2D sprite is what she should look like, and even though it obviously is a 2D sprite that's been drawn and everything, and you can tell based on the outline of her, I still like her 2D sprite. Also, the blue effect, the fog effect in OG, I like it better than HD. Her effect in HD is just not as effective as it is in OG. Visually, she wins in OG. I mean, there's no question. OG, her visual effects are better. And the shadow animals, while they do look cool in HD, I think they do look cooler than in OG. They're just too big. They're way too big. So, yeah, OG for sure. Lisa. My ex-girlfriend. Yeah, I was shipped. OG. Mainly because of build-up. Build-up for OG is significantly better than in HD. I don't know what they were thinking when they made her build up in HD, where the rooms don't get progressively redder like they do in OG, because I like when they get redder and redder in every room. There's something about that just makes it more effective and more menacing. In HD, it doesn't do that. It's just kind of random, whether it's a light red or a dark red. I don't get that. It just doesn't work. And her spawning queue, obviously, you don't hear it as well as you do in OG. And her visible phase is pretty scary. I mean, it's really scary in OG. She doesn't have a visible phase in HD. She's always, in her invisible phase in HD. But she also has this weird head twitchy thing that just looks off in HD. I don't know if it's just me, but something about her head twitching in HD just doesn't work. It just looks kind of goofy. In OG, it does not look as goofy. It actually looks scary. So that's why OG for Lisa. So let's move on to the Karamari Hospital monsters. Now, we all know that Monster 1 is not in either version's endless modes. We have to base this off of Karamari Hospital. the DLC. And he's going to go in the middle because I really don't have any opinion on whether or not he's better in OG or HD. He's very similar. He's almost the same. So, yeah, middle. Monster 2, Body. Only a few people will get that reference. Body Bag. Well, he only chases in HD's Endless Mode. He's not in OG's Endless Mode. But if we base it off of Karamari Hospital as well, I would say HD. Not sure why, but he's almost the same. It could go in the middle, but I'm going to say HD for a Body Bag. Just because, I mean, he does chase in HD's Endless Mode, so he's got that. He doesn't chase in OG, sadly. I don't know why. I wish he did, but he doesn't. Oh God, baby face. Quick, make the baby face sucks tier. All right, no, we're gonna put him in the middle as well, I think. It's because at least he has a chase theme that plays 50% of the time in OG's Endless Mode. He doesn't in HD's Endless Mode, but at least you can axe him in HD. You can't in OG, so that cancels out, I guess. He's still annoying, and I don't like him. He's my least favorite. So, middle ground. Monster 4. Definitely OG. This applies to mainly Endless Mode. So in Endless Mode, as you know, he hangs from the ceiling at the start of his spawning room. You know, in the spawning room. You see him at the exit door. And that's really awesome. I love the fact that he does that. And he doesn't in HD. He does not do that in HD. You have a really cool chase that I find to be a little harder and more menacing in OG than in HD. And also, why the hell does he make a dink-dank sound in HD when he hits you? He just goes dink, dunk, dunk sound. It's just, why? I mean, he should attack like everyone else does. Make the attack sound like everyone else does. But the problem with his HD chase is the fact that the fog was removed, and instead, you get nothing and no sound cue that he showed up. I mean, what the hell? So if his chase theme's not playing, he just sneaks up right behind your ass and ding, he dinks you. I mean, how stupid is that? I just don't understand why they butchered him in HD, but I guess we'll never know. All I know is his chase is a lot more impactful in OG, a lot scarier. I can't take it seriously in HD. So, our boy is going there in OG. The Moo Cow. It's Ghost Cow, guys. One of my favorites. Yeah, justice for Ghost Cow. He's going in OG. So, it looks like Ben has the cow's body. In OG, he's harder. No question. He's harder in OG in Endless Mode, and also in Karamari Hospital. I mean, in Karamari Hospital, he's faster, and if you hit a dead end in the maze, you probably will get hit a couple times. In HD, I've seen people get lost and still not get attacked by him because he's that slow. And they've got to change that. They've got to make him a little faster. They've got to do something to buff him up. He is way too nerfed, way too easy in HD, particularly in the hospital. So yeah, he's gonna go in OG. It's not a bad chase in Endless Mode in HD. It's fine, but it still is a little too easy. And I still think that Karamari Hospital wise, OG wins for sure. Bekka. Becky, where is she going? Even though I do think that her exit door mechanic is unique in HD, it is kind of unfair in a lot of instances with combos. And there's just something about the fact it gets dark in OG, even though she just chases normally. I'm going to go with OG, but this could easily go in the middle. Yeah, I'm going to go with OG for Bekka. Mechanic-wise is more unique in HD, but the dark fog is pretty scary. That's why she's going in OG. So Husks. Well, this is an obvious answer. It's going in OG. I mean, they're so bad in HD. I mean, as far as like visually, their model is one of the worst. And the shading on it just looks bad. I think most people would agree with that. I don't know why they didn't just do it like OG. Husks and OG are creepier. In HD, they just look really dumb. Nothing else to say. Wormy! Where should Wormy go? I'm gonna say middle. I slightly prefer his model in OG, just a bit more. There's a little more detail with him, but chase-wise, HD, at least he's not as broken. So I'm gonna put him in the middle. Clown. Our funny boy Clown. Tomar the Clown. He's gonna go in OG. Mainly because of, once again, the shading, the detail on his model, or his sprite. I think he looks scarier, creepier in OG. Hook Doll. Again, OG. There's something about the shading with Hook Doll, the blue shading, that just doesn't look right in HD. Also, I like the fact that she has no face in OG. I mean, it's mainly her appearance is the reason why she's going in OG, but I think that she works fine in both versions, although I think maybe HD slightly better, a little more fair. But yeah, I think it's because of the visuals is why she's going in OG for sure. The shading in the HD just doesn't look right. And that's it. We did them all. So this is the final list. These are the 30 main chase specimens and monsters and dolls in Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. And I ranked them based on whether they're better in OG or HD, or if they're in the middle. And as you can see, clearly no bias whatsoever towards OG. How many are there? 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's like 11 here, and then 17, right? Yeah, so 17 in OG and 5 in HD, and then the rest are in the middle. Well, still, I mean, yeah, these are just my opinions. My opinions will likely change when Soup comes out, but yeah, there you have it. This was fun, and what do you all think? I mean, I'm sure you all have a lot of disagreements with this ranking, this tier list, but this is just my tier list of how I feel towards them based on appearance, build-up, and chase mechanic. So there you have it. There is Ryan J's official tier list of the specimens based on if they're better in OG or HD. And I hope you enjoyed this video. See you all next time. Bye-bye.